I created a complete system that is gonna automate the complete customer support of tons of companies, cosmetic clinics, manufacturing companies, electricity companies, real estate companies, whatever company you think, this customer support system can be adapted completely to that company. Built inside N810, Lovable, and Supabase. We're gonna do this complete workflow in something more than an hour. So if you want to see how it's built and how it works, stick around because we're gonna get directly into it. So guys, to start this guide on how to automate the complete customer support of a big company, we have come to a whiteboard, and just to note down, we can automate the customer support for different companies, from cosmetic clinics to manufacturing companies, electricity companies, entire hospitals, whatever you want. We're gonna start with the two main aspects that we have to automate inside customer support, which is the voice with the phone calls, which we are going to cover with Vapi and N810, and later the text ones. Most people usually text to a WhatsApp number, so we're going to configure that within WhatsApp. And if you want later, there's a bunch of more possibilities to add, like for example a chatbot inside your website or an Instagram chat, but these ones are the main ones, and that's what we are going to do right now, guys. So we might end using a Lovable or Supabase also system to create a dashboard. I'm gonna be seeing meanwhile. So the first thing that we're gonna do actually is go directly to Vapi AI to start the AI voice agent that we are gonna start. We're gonna do it with a Vapi workflow. I wanted to use in this case Vapi because we have been lately using a lot Retail AI, and we have to come back to Vapi, which has given me a lot of views, and it's a really cool steel platform inside voice AI. Let's start with a blank canvas here, a blank workflow. Let's wait until it is created. Okay, so it works really similar to what Retail AI workflows. You have seen my complete building live guide of the $10,000 system. Works. So if we go, for example, here to global voice, we can configure the voice that we are going to use. We can go choose from 11 labs to Vapi, whatever you guys want. I'm going to choose in this case 11 labs because actually what I can configure inside is much more cooler than what we have in Vapi. So inside Sarah, I'm going to go directly to 11 labs, to the voice library. I'm gonna sign in, let me a moment. Okay, perfect, here I am, and we can choose whatever you guys want. So let's go to filters, let's choose in this case the language of English. Where is it? Here. Let's choose the accent by now American, we want a conversational, and let's choose by now male. Lately I've been using more male voices than female. I have found them to work a bit better lately. So let's see, for example, let's take a look at Jerry. I'm gonna make it to sound higher.
This voice model is perfect for capturing the essence of a hyper-real conversational feel.
Let's.
Hey, I was just thinking about Earth Day that happened earlier this month.
Yeah, I like it. Let's take it. I'm gonna copy the voice ID. So what you can do is come here, click on copy voice ID, and let's go back to Vapi. I actually closed it. Okay, I'm back here in our workflow, and I'm basically gonna configure it. Let's click come here. I'm gonna add the voice ID manually, so I'm gonna enter here the voice ID I just copied. Fantastic. And with that, we can choose the different models. As we're gonna be using English, Turbo B2_5 is the best one by default. And if you want to do another language, just go with multilingual. Okay, language auto detect. No, we're gonna choose. Let's see if we have here English. And here, because this is the best part I like about 11 labs, that we can choose to modify these type of things. For example, the style, the speed. I like it to be a bit slower always, because if not, it's not really realistic. So I usually like to leave it on 0.9, just in case. There you go. Okay, perfect. And then what's similarity boost? More expensive, more similar. We're gonna leave this by now, like here. This is true that there are some things that are better from Retail AI, for example, configuring this type of things inside the voice, which Retail has. 11 labs gives you some possibilities, but Retail inside gives you a bunch more. So what do we have here? We have the possibility to write the complete prompt with all the knowledge base and everything we wanted him to include. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna start with the start node directly, the first message that we are gonna say. I'm gonna change my camera here, and we can start directly with the first message. So let's say, hey there, I am James, the assistant of Science Cosmetics, the biggest cosmetic clinic in Madrid. How can I help you? Let's say. Okay, and normally when you contact a cosmetic clinic, there's some options like answering questions that you might have, or basically booking an appointment to go again, or maybe changing an appointment, whatever you want to do. Okay, and here we are gonna say basically you are the assistant, well, a helpful assistant from Science Cosmetics, let's say, and you have to decide if the user just wanted to ask a question, if he wanted to make an appointment with any of the doctors and he wants to be treated, let's say, if he wants to change an appointment, if he wants to cancel an appointment, and if he wants to apply for the job. Let's imagine that this cosmetic client has an option where he wants to apply for a job because basically they want to get a new doctor for whatever they need, let's say. So with this said, I'm gonna bring me here and we are gonna add in this case a conversation. Why? Because we are gonna have, as you can see, a couple of options. If they just want to ask a question, if they want to book an appointment, if they want to cancel an appointment, change an appointment, and finally if they want to apply for the job. So we have a bunch of them. That's great. Okay, so what we have here is the conditions with which they can change. So let's say here, if the user wants to be treated here and wants to make an appointment with any of the doctors, right? So I'm gonna actually write now all of them, and then we will be going one by one. Okay, so I'm gonna connect it there, and here the condition is gonna say user wants to cancel an appointment. Great. So let's add another one, and it's gonna be if the user, in this case, wants to modify an appointment, change an appointment, and finally we will add the last condition, which is user wants to apply for the job. Let's set it here. There you go. Great. And it's gonna be I'm gonna actually bring it here so that we can see it better. There you go. And it's gonna be here. User wants to apply for the job. User wants to apply for the new job. Great. So let's start directly with the most important one, that is when people want to be treated and want to book an appointment. So here we can set first message. Okay, so I basically asked ChatGPT what are the departments that they... Oh no, esto no pinta nada. So we have to take into consideration that cosmetic clients usually have, let's say that they're gonna be treating only women. I know that there's a lot of them that treat also men, but we're gonna say that they only treat women. So they have several departments, the dermatologists, this type of doctors. So they say that they have a doctor per each one. So for that, what we're gonna do is actually ask him here, what type of treatment do you want? Do you want a breast augmentation? Do you want to, for example, treat your hair? Or do you want to a facial change? Whatever you want. So for that, I'm gonna go directly to right here the prompt. So as in this case, we're gonna ask him to describe what he wants. Later, we are gonna ask to the assistant to decide which of these 4 teams of doctors, let's say, he needs. So that's why I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna say, ask him what is he planning, or what does he need, or what does he need help with? Yeah, what does he need help with? Or why does he want to come? Yeah, okay. And we're gonna tell him later, decide in which of these groups is he gonna, let's say, is he gonna fit. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna paste everything. Perfect. So now we're gonna get to extract a variable. We want the GPT to extract the variable of, in this case, which of these. So let's say add the title to the variable of let's say type. Perfect. So we want it to be basically a variable so that later in NA10 we can separate and book the appointment in different calendars. So we're gonna click here and extract a variable. We're gonna change it and it's gonna be type, and the type of doctor the user is gonna need help from. Let's say it can be, we're gonna come to here, dermatologist, plastic surgeons, aesthetic doctors, and trichologists. I'm gonna add actually that. Okay, great. And right now, what we are gonna say now is output those exact names when each of them is corresponded, let's say. Great. So here inside enumerate volume, we can actually do what we just said. We can come here, click here, and we can add all of them that could be. So I'm gonna save it. There you go, guys. As easy as that. So I'm gonna then launch another conversation in which we are gonna ask him basically when he wants to come to the clinic. So I'm gonna change the condition and I'm gonna say user said why he wants to make an appointment. So inside the conversation we are gonna go to edit the prompt in this case. And what are we gonna say inside? Once he tell us why he wants to do it and we have classified him, what we are gonna do is basically go here and ask him for the date and time in which we want him to basically book the appointment. So for that we're gonna directly go here and say ask him now when he would like to have an appointment with one of our doctors. Inform him that our clinic opens from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Perfect. He has to say a day and time. Fantastic. And from there, here what we want to add is extract a variable, and it's gonna be probably a string, right? Yeah. And it's gonna be, first of all, it's gonna be the date. We're gonna tell it and call it, and it's gonna be the date in which the prospect wants to have an appointment with us. We're gonna say output only the day and hour inside the tool. Fantastic. I'm gonna click on save, and now it's the perfect moment to come here and we are gonna add in this case an API request. There you go. Once the user says an hour and day. Great. So let's come here. Let's go with a tool. We're gonna call it appointment. It's gonna be, in this case, request URL. We're gonna go right now to NA10, mainly to NA10, because we're gonna create an agent with all the different calendars that we have so that we can create that appointment and check the calendar availability. It's not gonna be as with Retail AI that we use call.com. No, we're gonna use the classical Google Calendar. So we are gonna start with a simple webhook here. There you go, which is gonna be, in this case, to respond immediately. We want it to be a post method. I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna bring it back here. I'm gonna paste it here. Fantastic, beautiful. And then we're gonna include an AI agent. Inside this AI agent, well, before configuring everything here, I'm gonna add the chat model. For these complex things, I actually like to use ChatGPT. A classical one works best for me, 4.1 mini, great. And now we're gonna add a bunch of tools, because how are we gonna manage everything? Well, we have to take into account that if we want to book several appointments in different calendars of each doctor, we have to have different calendars for each doctor. So for that, we're gonna come to our Google Calendar. Let's say that this is the email of the cosmetic clinic. So what we can do here is, inside my calendars, we can add actually more calendars. So we can use this to call it, for example, Derma for the dermatologists. We're gonna create the calendar. Okay, has been created. Let's create another one. The next one could be, for example, the one of plastic. Let's go, click on create. Great. I'm gonna go to check the next one, which is gonna be, in this case, the aesthetic. So let's go back to create another one. Here, there you go, create new calendar, aesthetic, create calendar, and the last one is gonna be trico. So calendar creation in progress. There we have them all here. So we have to take into account if there's an appointment at 11 a.m. for example on Derma, we can book an appointment also in plastic at 11 a.m. because it's gonna still be available. So we're gonna be creating calendars for all of them. So here, calendar tools actually. So I'm gonna go here to choose I have to connect my credential. I will sign in with Google. So the good thing is that we're gonna use it. Well, we will leave it in this case on create, and we're gonna click here to let the model define it. Okay. So we're gonna leave one on create, and we're gonna create actually a calendar tool for each one. So this one is gonna be book derma, because we're gonna use the one for derma. There you go. I'm gonna actually duplicate it 4 times in this case, duplicate and duplicate, and we're gonna be changing all of them. In this case, instead of derma, it's gonna be plastic. Great. And we're gonna change the calendar to plastic. Great. So we're gonna just connect it. Great. Let's go to the other ones. This one is gonna be the trico one. Great. And we're gonna go to the calendar of trico. I'm gonna connect it. And the last one, which was aesthetic. There you go. Yeah. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna include aesthetic. And let's change the calendar to aesthetic. Here it is. And then we're gonna bring this first connected, and we're gonna bring them back here. All the books are gonna be together. And I'm gonna include right now another calendar, but in this case it's gonna be to get availability. So we're gonna click here and we're gonna get many events. Yeah, we want to get many events. So we're gonna let it by the model. In this case, I'm gonna start with one calendar. It's gonna be the derma. So we're gonna put here, check derma. Great. And it's gonna be exactly the same process. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna duplicate in total 3 times so that there's 4 different tools of check. There you go. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna put, in this case, trico, check trico, and I'm gonna put trico here. Great. Where I'm gonna connect it. Let's do the same in this case with aesthetic. There you go. And I'm gonna connect it to aesthetic. And finally it's gonna be the same for plastic. Okay, so this part is actually finished. This is what our AI agent is gonna be doing for inside an A10 basically. Well, we will probably change it later because this is gonna be only for tool calls. Once we receive all the transcripts and everything, we will do another small scenario here inside an A10. I'm gonna save it, gonna go back to Vapi, and in this case let's go to our API request. Okay guys, so new day. I actually did a test yesterday and I've changed some things. I've simplified this condition, user says days and time. I have actually amplified this one and changed it to you have decided what he needs and the user is ready to book an appointment. And the most important one is that I have come here and changed a bit the API request. I have actually set a request body in which I have set the date, and I like the date in which the user wants to book an appointment. It's actually going to be required, and then the type of the doctor the user is going to need help from, and I have put the 4 of them that are actually, because once I was doing the test and I was doing the API request here to an A10, I just click here on execute workflow. It wasn't appearing the information of these variables of date and type because I mind that they appear in the end of call report. And here Vapi works a little bit different than Rettel. In my opinion, it's a bit worse, but let's continue with it. So I actually managed to get here the information. As you can see here, we got the body, which is the date, and the type. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so for this, what we're gonna do is come here and we are gonna click on define below. And we're gonna say the date the user wants to book an appointment, and we're gonna drag in this case the date here. First change it to expression, then include it here, and after what we are gonna do is include the type of doctor the user wants to book an appointment with. Great. So then what we are gonna do is add an option, and it's gonna be a system message. By the way, if we want to include actually a small description of what the user is gonna want, what we could do actually is, for example, come here and ask our request body, which is gonna be here description. It's gonna be a small description of what the user is looking to accomplish with the appointment. Let's click on apply. Fantastic, and we will add this later. Meanwhile, what we're gonna do is write this system message. Okay guys, so here we have it. Select the tool of get many events of JSON body type, so basically dermatologist. If it is available, use the tool of book dermatologist and take into account it has to be in the future. We have to give it the now. If you want to find, guys, where is the now, you can come here to variables and contacts and you will find it there. And he wants the appointment to be in. By the way, if you are asking before advancing, if you're asking how did I accomplish to get here the information, basically click here on call, and I started doing a conversation. Click here on execute workflow to receive the API request. Fantastic. So for example, we could actually do a test. Let's click here to run it and see what it's gonna accomplish. As you can see, it has gone to Derma and it has booked an appointment inside Derma, which is actually really good. So for that, right now I'm gonna send actually a webhook response. I'm gonna come here and it's gonna be a webhook response. Yeah, immediately. So we're gonna set it in oh, I actually set another webhook, so it has to be a respond to webhook. There you go. And in this case, yeah, let's do it first, a coming item, and I'm gonna execute the step. Great. So that's the output that we actually want to send. Fantastic. So with that done, what we can do is come here back to our fantastic assistant. Okay, so right now we're gonna do actually set 2 conditions. So I'm gonna add 2 conversations. We're gonna delete this part. We're gonna connect both. One is gonna be in case the hour is available and if the appointment has been booked. If there's an error, we'll change it later and I will let you know. Later we will do a test to test it, and I'm gonna set here there is no availability. Yeah, in the hour the user has chosen. And I'm not gonna actually add here any prompt. I'm gonna just say the message. Let's say, so it seems that the hour you have chosen is not available. Could you please choose another one? And then what we're gonna do is basically drag this here and put it back to the part of API request so that it starts a loop. And the condition is gonna be user says the date and time. Great. So I'm actually gonna come here and I'm gonna say perfect, your appointment has been booked at, and we can put here the curly braces to include the date. Fantastic. By the way, I actually think that we should actually ask for this person the name so that we can know how he is called, basically. So we want to ask also the names. So I'm gonna put here inside the one of ask the date. Please ask also for his name in order to book an appointment. We could actually add it as a variable if you want. Maybe we can come here, change it, and then let's do it, for example, name, the name of the user, save. So let's come back to the API request. Here you go. The request body is going to be a bit different. We want the description also, and what we also want is to add a property, which is going to be, in this case, for example, the name of the user, and apply it. It's going to be required actually. Fantastic. And we're going to add finally the number. It's going to be the number of the user. Fantastic. Again, required. Apply. Well, maybe we could set this as a number actually. Better, yeah, definitely. And great. So with this set, your appointment perfect. Your appointment has been booked at date. See you then. Thanks for everything. Do you have any remaining questions? So, and the transition to the end call is gonna be, in this case, end call. If the user said he doesn't have any questions. Great, there you go, there we have it. And this is how basically the appointment is gonna look. It's as easy as that. We're gonna be able to do later a test. Now let's go with the user wants to cancel an appointment. Yeah, perfect. So what are we gonna do? So for that, I'm gonna actually separate between types. So we're gonna have an AI that is gonna be in charge of deleting or modifying appointments, and another that is gonna be in charge directly of booking. Perfect. So with that done, what we're gonna do is go here into our request body, and I'm gonna add a property, which is gonna be agent, and it's gonna be book. Great. There you go. I'm gonna click on apply. It's gonna be the agent. What are we gonna do in this case now? In case they want to delete an appointment or cancel an appointment, I understand. Let's say in the first message, I'm gonna be playing right now with first message instead of prompts to be changed a bit. I understand. Can you tell me the date and time in which your appointment is gonna take place? and the doctor you were gonna have it, like a dermatologist or a trichologist. Great. So once we have that information, I'm gonna put here another API request. There you go. And in this case, I'm gonna say user, if the user set the time, well, the date and time of his appointment. Okay, so I'm actually also gonna ask the reason, actually, because we want to inform the doctor why he wants to actually cancel the appointment. So also ask the reason why he wants to book an appointment if he hasn't said it yet. If he has said it, there is no need. Great. So let's go back to the API request in this case, and we're gonna do actually a similar thing. Okay guys, we're gonna come here to the webhook and we're gonna copy actually the same webhook. There you go. I'm gonna bring it back here. There you go. The tool name is gonna actually be instead of here, the tool name, I think it is appointment, so this one is gonna be cancel. Great. And what we're gonna do is the request body at, in this case, the date, and we're gonna put here in description the date in which the appointment of the user was gonna take place. Let's put also the date in of the appointment the user wants to cancel. Great. Okay, what else do we need? So let's add here in this case the type. Well, before, I'm gonna actually come here, click here, the request body, and I'm gonna copy exactly what we have here. Basically, I'm gonna copy all of them. So the type of doctor, the user. Okay, type, we're gonna set here the type of doctor that has the appointment that is gonna be cancelled. Great. So we're gonna add some values here. It's gonna be dermatologist, plastic surgeon, exactly the same, guys. I'm gonna put it on required. Great. And we're gonna add another one that is gonna be reason, the reason of canceling the appointment of the user. Right, required, apply. There you go, fantastic. So once we have this, and we're gonna add two possible routes. So I'm gonna actually delete it here because we wanted to connect it here. In order that it was successful and the appointment was cancelled. Appointment was cancelled. I'm gonna say here, okay, your appointment has been cancelled. Do you want to book another one? Let's set it like this. And if the user says no, then we will just say thanks for everything. Let's set it here. User says no. If the user said no, perfect, thanks for your time, see you soon. Great. There you go. And we're gonna add here a end call. There you go. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna actually cancel. I'm gonna delete this one and I'm gonna connect it here. There you go. And we're gonna add this message. Okay, and user said no. But if user says yes, we're gonna actually bring him back here. Okay, and user said yes. So that if he wants to book another appointment, we want to ask him what does he want to be treated. Greatly. So if the appointment wasn't cancelled, there was an error. What we're gonna say here is, oops, I see there was an error. I wasn't able to cancel the appointment. Can you confirm me again let's say the doctor you were gonna have it with and the date and time? And right now what we're gonna do is basically come back, connect it back to the API request once the user set all the information. So I'm actually gonna come here, and in case the user wants to modify and change the appointment, really easy. We're gonna actually copy this that we have here, and I'm gonna bring it here because we're gonna say exactly the same message. I'm gonna modify a bit. Instead of saying also ask the reason, can you also tell me the reason why you are canceling? There you go. And that's gonna be exactly the same as I said back here. There you go. Great. So I'm not gonna actually get any variables because that's not really important right now. What we are gonna do is come here and we want to cancel that appointment. We want to basically come back and book another one. So it's gonna be a similar process, actually, a similar process. We will first, let's say we will first cancel the appointment, book you another one. And we're gonna actually, as you can see here, basically connect it here. That's all. So that when they want to modify the appointment, we're gonna bring it in. And do you want to later to confirm? Let's say here to confirm, so that it makes sense in both cases. To confirm, and that way we go with all the process, and it makes complete sense, you know, guys. So that they give us that information, and we're gonna bring here to the API request to delete that appointment, and it's gonna be always in a loop. I hope it makes sense for you guys. It's gonna be the same process, canceling first the appointment, and then we're gonna ask him if he wants to book another one. If they want to book another one, we're gonna bring it directly here to the process of booking a new one. So instead, the user set the date and time, the doctor, and the reason. Right, fantastic. Okay, so another route that has been finished, and let's go finally to this one that user wants to apply for the new job. So we will transfer them directly to our director, because our director is gonna manage all the job applications that they get. It's just an hypothetical situation, so let's say, okay, so do you want me to transfer you to our director so that you can talk further details with him, right? So let's put the question, and we're gonna put two situations. So the transfer call, if the user said yes, basically. The destination that we are gonna add is a phone number. Here you want to put the phone number that you want. Enter the message to be spoken to the customer before transfer. So great, transferring right now to him. And here we can select several things. So let's say the phone number is gonna be a random number from my country. There you go. For example, transfer plan, it can be, as you can see, with the several things. Warm transfer with message, warm transfer with summary, and we can actually do several things. Blind transfer. There's a lot of options that we can choose here. Let's select the default one, that is the blind transfer. And in this case, we can directly end the call. I mean, I'm gonna leave it actually like this. I'm gonna bring it there, and if the user said no, we'll understand. We'll say, if the user said no, we'll say first here, and we'll come and say, the only way for you to apply for the job is to talk with our director. Are you sure you don't want to talk with him? Great. So with this said, what we are going to do actually is, if the user said no, or if the user said yes, actually we're going to transfer the call. If the user said no, or let's say user confirms he doesn't want to talk to the director, and we will end the call. Thanks for your time then. See you soon. Right? And let's say users finally agrees to be transferred. Great. So as you can see here, guys, with this we have finished actually all the workflow that we want to do, in this case for our cosmetic clinic. We're gonna configure right now the system of API request for canceling the appointment. What I'm gonna do actually right now behind the cameras, I'm gonna do a test in which I'm gonna go through the process of canceling an appointment, and then with that test done, I'm just gonna click execute workflow while clicking here on call. Once the test is done, what I'm gonna do is come back to configure it with you. Okay guys, so I've actually just done a small test in which I have gotten some of the properties. I have actually changed one thing because I forgot previously to tell you to add, in this case, in the request body, the agent. In this case, the type is gonna be cancel. Great. So let's go back to the NA10 workflow here, where I executed the workflow, separated this part, and we're gonna add, as there was here, an if module. Exactly. So we're gonna put here if the agent is equal to book, and it's true, it means that it's gonna have to go to this AI agent, right? Because we previously said that agent was book is, remember, if they were gonna book an appointment. Then we're gonna add, in this case, another if module, which is gonna be in case the agent, so I'm gonna connect it, I'm gonna copy this, and it's gonna be in case agent is cancel. So I'm gonna execute these previous notes, there you go, and it's equal to cancel. And in that case, we're gonna add, in this case, with true, it's cancel, right? There you go, cancel. We're gonna add, in this case, for true and AI agent, there you go. which in this case I'm gonna connect the chat model back to ChatGPT here. There we have it. And we're gonna start adding the tools, because remember that what we are gonna do actually is check Derma and check Plastic to get the events. But then instead of booking, we are gonna use the tools of deleting an event. So I'm gonna start duplicating these ones, basically. Or even what we could do, I think so, is using both, as you can see. Connecting them here, yeah, better, that's probably better. And there you go, works really good. So we're gonna add then the tools of deleting the calendar, an event, basically. So I'm gonna come here, we're gonna delete an event. And what we're gonna do is basically come here and we're gonna be doing one for each one. So in this case, it's gonna be delete Derma. There you go. And it's gonna be the Derma. And I'm gonna actually set this to be defined automatically by the model. So then we're gonna come here to the tool, and I'm gonna actually add another calendar tool, which is gonna be in this case the one of delete trichologist. So it's gonna be delete trico. Perfect. So we're gonna come here, trico. I'm gonna let this define by the model, and I'm gonna start doing the same that we did before. For the two remaining, I'm gonna actually come here to duplicate it. There you go. And let's duplicate it one last time. There you go. Let's do it for, in this case, plastic surgeon and aesthetic. So with this, we have finished the part of tools of this AI agent. We're gonna come back, and what we're gonna do is click here on be defined below, and we're gonna basically tell him here. We have not got these variables, but no worry, because I did have a bad test. But we had the important thing is to play here inside an item with the variables, because in a real call, we're gonna get everything here. So we're gonna tell him, in this case, the date of the appointment the user wants to cancel. There you go, 2 dots, and we're gonna put this one. Please pass it to expression. There you go. And what we're gonna do next is come here and put the type of doctor the user was going to have the appointment. And we're gonna put type. There you go, great. So from there on, we're gonna add a system message, which is gonna be the next one. Okay guys, so I actually set a similar prompt to the previous one, just a bit of change. You're a helpful assistant from Site Cosmetics, and your objective is to delete the appointment of this user, because he's not gonna be able to be there. So this part is exactly the same, and once you find it, use the tool of delete event of, and we have set here the type, this one, to delete the appointment. Take into account it has to be in the future, exactly as the previous one, and the appointment was gonna be in the date. Great guys, so with this we actually finished the part of the tools and the API requests that we're gonna do inside this voice agent for our cosmetics. We're gonna finally retrieve a small system to get all the transcripts, recording URL, and all those parts inside our CRM. Why not? Let's use Supabase as the example. So let's go into it. Okay guys, so to get the transcript on all that information, what I'm actually gonna do is come here to the phone numbers that we are gonna have, and we have to select here our workflow so that we can use it in the future. Perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is do a call, but first of all we have to get the webhook that we got here. So coming back to N10, we are gonna copy the webhook, bring it back to Vapi, and once here what we have to do is go to our settings. Here in organization settings, go a bit down and include here our server URL. This is the webhook that we just copied, and click save. Once there, we can go back to workflows, and we can actually do the test that we wanted to do. So I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna call the number, and be cautious of how I'm gonna do the next thing, because I'm gonna click here on listen to event, and at a specified time just after I have just ended the call, because what we want to get here is the end of call report. So guys, what I'm gonna do right now is actually call the assistant so that we can have here the end of call report, and yeah, so that we can retrieve the transcript and everything. So I'm gonna call right now the assistant. I'm gonna click here to trigger the webhook once I finished.
Hey there, I'm James, the assistant of the Sign Cosmetics, the biggest cosmetic clinic in Madrid. How can I help you?
Yeah, so I wanted to cancel my appointment.
I understand. Can you tell me the date and time in which your appointment is going to take place, and the doctor you were going to have it, like a dermatologist or trichologist? Can you also tell me the reason why you are canceling?
No, bye. 1, 2, 3, now. There you go, guys. We actually have here already the end of call report, which is exactly what we wanted. So if you go down, we have here the transcript and the recording URL, which was actually what we were looking for, which are great news. I'm gonna actually connect here, and what we want to do right now is bring this if down, and we're gonna bring it here, and I'm gonna add a final if module. There you go, in which is gonna be, well, let's execute the previous nodes. There you go, we have here the info. So what we want to do is actually come a bit down, and we want to get the type, and it has to be, as you can see here, end of call report. So I'm actually gonna write it here, end of call report. There you go. Great. So I'm gonna execute the step. There you go. Fantastic. And let's continue now, because what we are gonna do now is gonna go to Supabase to include all the information. We're gonna also include an AI agent to divide the information between the guys who have booked an appointment, the guys who wanted to apply for the job. So let's go directly in this case to Supabase, because we're gonna create different tables. So I right now have the project. Do you remember of our previous guide? So I'm gonna actually create right now a new project. I'm gonna basically, well, I have it here. So I'm gonna actually come here and I'm gonna include other new tables rather than these ones. So I'm gonna actually leave it like this. I'm gonna click on new table and we're gonna call this one, in this case, customer support. Here we're gonna include all the total centralized table. I'm gonna be actually call it centralized table. So here we're gonna have the appointments that have been used, and we're also gonna have, in this case, the amount of calls that has been sent, for example, and some more data. So I'm not gonna actually configure it right now. I'm gonna just create it. Well, we're gonna actually add, for example, calls sent, or calls sent, no, calls done or received. Let's call it like this. So in this case, the type is gonna be a numeric. I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna actually add also the appointments. There you go. So let's do it, and let's say include an appointment. Maybe in the future we can add, for example, the messages for WhatsApp, but right now let's go leave it with calls. Later, what I'm gonna add actually is another new table, which is gonna be customer support, interested people. There you go, fantastic. And I'm gonna save it. There you go. This is gonna be a table. We actually only want one table for the ones who have booked an appointment, because we're not gonna want to keep the data of the ones that want. Well, we might make one for the ones who applied for a job actually. Yeah, we're gonna do one of them. So we're gonna add several columns. In this case, it's gonna be type for the type of doctor. I'm gonna select in this case a text. Later, we're gonna also add the number. There you go. And I'm gonna add the numeric. There you go. I'm gonna save it again. Then I'm gonna add actually the name, and I'm gonna choose the text. And finally, I'm gonna actually use the add a date of appointment. There you go. So it's gonna be in this case the time. There you go. I'm gonna save it. Oh, so we're not gonna do anything with the ones who apply for a job. We're not gonna need data for that ones, because take into account that they're gonna be transferred. So what we could do maybe is add here a column of job applications. I'm gonna choose again numeric, so that we can get the data of people that have applied for the job through our voice agent. But that's all that we are going to do actually. So we can come here right now, and we want to have here an AI agent who is going to decide if these guys wanted to book an appointment, a new appointment, these guys wanted to cancel their appointment, or these guys wanted to modify their appointment or apply for the job. So let's come here. I'm going to select the AI agent. There you go. And here what we're going to do is actually come here, click on define below, and I'm going to write here transcript of the call we might use. There you go. And I'm gonna pass it to expression, and here we're gonna find the transcript, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna go down, and here we have it. There you go. I'm gonna place it here. So with this done, what we're gonna do is actually add a system message, and I'm gonna write the next prompt. So guys, here I have it. It's really easy. You are a helpful assistant of site cosmetics who is in charge of analyzing the transcript, blah, blah, blah. And I have set it. Output 0 if he wanted to apply for the job. Output 1 if he booked his first appointment. Output 2 if he wanted to cancel his appointment. Output 3 if he wanted to modify his already existing appointment. Taking into account the transcript to decide. Okay, so with this done, I'm actually gonna connect the chat model to the already existing one that we have here inside ChatGPT. There you go. I'm gonna come here, connect it, so that all of them can have it. Later, what we're going to do is click here on tool, and we're not going to add anything actually here. What we're going to do is come directly here, and we're going to add a switch module, because we want to switch between the different outputs that we could get here. So I'm going to actually execute the node. In this case, it was a 2 because I wanted to cancel actually my appointment. So it's really easy. We're going to add the output, and if the output is 0, it means that this guy applied for the job. And let's add until 4 routine rules. If the output was 1, it means that they booked a new appointment. If the output is 2, it means that they just canceled the appointment. And if the output is 3, again, it means that they actually wanted to modify their appointment. It sounds great. So with this done, we're going to have 4 possible routes. Let's go with the first one in case they wanted to apply for the job. In case they wanted to apply for the job, we are just going to transfer the call. So we have to know that. So if we're going to add that inside the Supabase centralized table, and we can set, for example, an SMS to or an email to the CEO or who is managing all the job applications inside the cosmetics clinics, so that they can know that a new application form has just arrived. So let's do that. I'm going to actually come here to Supabase, and as we don't have a job for application table, what we're going to do is update a row, because we're going to come back to our Supabase centralized table of customer support. Here we have it. No, centralized table here, and we are going to add a row. Here you go. And what's the numbers gonna be at first? 0, 0, 0. Great. And I'm gonna save it right now. Right with this set, what we can do again is come here. Well, we actually have to add first a get row, my fault, guys. So let's go to Supabase again and let's get the row. There you go. And we're gonna delete this one, just this one. Okay guys, so in order to test it, what I've done is come here to the AI agent, and I basically click here and I'm on edit, and I place here the 0, I save it, and I've pinned the data so that we can do these test executions. That's great because now we can click to get the row to execute the node, sorry, and here we have it, we have that row. So what we're gonna do now is go back to Supabase, and we are gonna actually come here and we're gonna update the row here. Great. So what we're gonna do is update the centralized table. We're gonna add the condition in which the ID equals 1. That's great. And we want to use the fields, each one actually. So the calls done or received, we're gonna come here and careful with what we're gonna do. Okay, and you have to be really careful with, you have to follow me here, okay? So I'm gonna actually write down here .abs with the parentheses. Now we're gonna put comma 1, and we're gonna put these brackets here at the end, and then they start behind the dollar and after the 1 to finally add a .sum. There you go. So right now we see that there's one more, and we are gonna do the same with, in this case, the appointment. I'm gonna bring this one here, and what we are gonna do is click on .apps. There you go. Let's put comma 1. Let's put the brackets and .zoom. Great. And the last one, let's do exactly the same. We're gonna get the applications. There you go. And I'm gonna bring drag it here. Put .apps, comma 1, put the brackets, and put .zoom. Fantastic, excellent. So I'm gonna actually execute it right now. It sounds great. And what we are gonna do actually is right now send that notification Gmail. So it's gonna be as easy as coming here to Gmail, selecting a send message. There you go. I have already here connected my Gmail account. I remember, guys, to you, if you have any doubts, this video would be so long if I explain you how to connect everything, but you'll always have connections. For example, here in Supabase, you always have here open docs and guides from NI10 to connect it, which are really easy to follow. So with this done, let's say that, for example, the one managing the job applications, his name is Max. So let's say Max at cosmetics.com is gonna be the man who is managing the job application. So hey Max, no, let's say new job application, let's say, yeah. I'm gonna set it in text and I say, hey Max, a new person has just called, interested in applying for the job. There you go. Let me put it in expression. I'll make it bigger. This is bad, my fault. Applying, I think it's written. Applying man. There you go, for the job. In case you couldn't catch the transfer call, this is his number. Great, and now we're gonna come into the if mode. We're gonna select the number and we're actually gonna drag it right here to let him know about it. Okay, so with this done, we have just finished the one of job application. Let's go to the next one. That one is in case they actually book an appointment. So I'm gonna come here, we're gonna go to the Supabase and actually gonna click on create a row because we're gonna actually create a new row. We have to come back to the AI agent to edit this, and let's go here to put the one. I'm gonna save it, and here we have the data pinned so that now we can go to the switch, we can execute it, and we're gonna have the route through one, and we can continue here. So we have to select the one of interest people because this guy is interested on booking a new appointment. With this, what we're gonna do is go adding some fields. We probably got here in this case the name, which actually we got it before because if we book their appointment, it means that we actually process here the data. So before this one, what we are gonna do is come here and add an AI agent to extract from the transcript. We're gonna extract different things like the date of the appointment and the name of the appointment, of the guy who's gonna book. So I'm gonna put here inside the AI agent. Let's go directly into it and let's place here the transcript. So I'm gonna go to the if module as previously, and I'm gonna include the transcript that we got here. So I'm gonna go down. Here it is, perfect. So I'm gonna place it here. And now what we're gonna do is write the next system message, which I've already written. Here we have it. You're a helpful assistant, and you have to give us the name of the user, the date, and the type of doctor he has chosen. One thing that you have to note down is I know we have got here the variables inside the Vapi workflow. That if you can see here, we have here the type, the date, the name, but I'm not really sure that that's gonna actually work as well as in RETL. So in case, I mean, you can trust 100% of Vapi, and in the end of call report, you are gonna see all the information there. But I prefer to actually confirm it with an AI agent because it's not gonna make a mistake as the Vapi could do. So for that, what we are gonna do is connect the chat model to the same one, OpenAI ChatGPT, and later what we're gonna do is make it bigger, and we're gonna add a output parser. So we're gonna come here, require output parser. Why? Because what we're gonna do is click here on structure output data, and I want the name, date, and type of doctor. So let's go to that. So let's put here name. Let's put instead of California, let's say Diego as an example. Inside of city, let's put type, the type of doctor, and let's put this as an example of dermatologist, for example, dermatologist, and let's put here another, and there you go. I'm gonna write in this case the date, the 15th of June 2025 at 11 a.m. Let's set it like that. Great. So with this done, we're gonna click actually on run. It's not gonna run right now. Why? Because we don't have the previous data. I know we had pinned it here, but if you want to check what happens if we do it as we were doing it late before, so let's set here a 1 for this route, and we click here on pin, and we come here to execute it. You're gonna see that it gives us here. Well, we have to run it here. There you go. And if we run it here, you're gonna see that it gives us here all the information actually that we wanted. That sounds good. So with this done, what we're gonna do is come here, and we're gonna go to Supabase. What we're gonna do is create a new row. There you go. What we have to do here is select, in this case, the interested people, and we're gonna be adding the field. So in this case, we have the type. Really easy. We have to add here the type. That's all. We're gonna add another field, which is gonna be in this case the number, which we can add later from the if module as we did before. And I'm gonna add it right now. We also have here the date of appointment, which I'm actually gonna add here, and also we have the, in this case, the name, which I'm also gonna add here. By the way, I'm gonna actually add as columns in the Supabase table the transcript and the recording URL. So I'm gonna come back to Supabase, and I'm gonna go to the interested people table. So inside here, what I'm gonna do is add 2 new ones. This one is gonna be in this case transcript, and it's gonna be left as text. I'm gonna save it, and now I'm gonna add the recording URL here. Recording URL, perfect, and it's gonna be also text because it is a link. So I'm gonna save it now. Great, guys. So once it has been saved, we're gonna come back to our NA10 workflow, and I'm gonna actually refresh the values. So we're gonna have to refresh list. Okay, and now I hope that we can find here all the new columns of transcript and recording URL. There you go, as you can see. So we're gonna come to the if module, and we're gonna add, we have done already tons of times, the transcript here. Great, and we're also gonna add here another field with, in this case, the recording URL. Okay, there you go, great. Fantastic, guys. So with this done, what we're gonna do is duplicate these ones. I actually did here before an error, because if you remember, I actually added one to the appointments when these ones that had applied for a job didn't book an appointment. So I'm gonna click here to delete this one. I'm gonna actually duplicate these ones because we're gonna do exactly the same, update the values of the centralized table. So I'm gonna click on here, I'm gonna come here, there you go, and I'm gonna also duplicate this one. There you go, fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna execute this note in this case. It has been giving me error. Why? Because the transcript didn't have anything. So what I'm gonna actually pin the data, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna put here some mock data. So it's gonna be dermatologist. It's gonna be date of, for example, 06, 15th of June, as we previously did, 11 a.m. Right. By the way, what we can do actually is come back to here, and I'm gonna actually tell him for the date, use this format, because if not, we're gonna get some mistakes. So it's gonna be month, day, year, and it's gonna be hour, minute. Great. So now we can go back, and we can actually click here to execute the note. Okay, I'm getting the error because we have to change the date of appointment. In this case, we're gonna have to change it from time to text, because probably it's not giving the exact one that this guy that Supabase wants or everything. We're gonna leave it in text because it works exactly the same. There's not gonna be any problem on that. Okay, so I'm gonna execute this step right now. So now we're gonna run, in this case, this one. There you go. And what we're gonna do here is come back here, and we want to add the last one that is gonna be, in this case, back again the appointments as we did before, but we were mistaken, and now it's gonna be the correct one. So we're gonna go to appointments. I'm gonna get this one, and I'm gonna put .apps, the brackets. Well, first the comma 1, the brackets, and here the .zoom. Great. Okay. So for now, right now, what you could do is, for example, send a notification to the team of dermatologists and whatever, informing that there has been a new appointment at its date. But as they're gonna see it actually inside their Google Calendar, we're not gonna do this because we don't want to make actually the video. It's already a bit long, so we don't want to make it longer. Let's go now with the route of the people who have cancelled the appointment, and we want to delete the row in which we had their name to book an appointment. So I'm gonna actually come here. We're gonna actually delete a row, and we're gonna go to the ones of interested, because these guys, they just were interested, they booked an appointment, but they are gonna actually delete it, so they're not gonna be anymore, and we have to delete them from there. So what we can do is actually come here to the number, and we're gonna go to equals, and I'm gonna add actually here the number. So I'm gonna get, in this case, the information from the webhook, and I'm gonna get the number and place it here. Let's take into account that the pluses are not gonna be counted inside Supabase, so it's actually gonna be always the same for the numbers, and if we do that, it's gonna be the same, so it's gonna trigger that one to delete it. And finally, we want to check for the modified time. So how are we gonna do that? We're gonna add an AI agent because we want to extract the new date that this guy has selected to update it and change it for the one that was before. So I'm actually gonna click on define below, and I'm gonna add here the transcript. There you go. I'm gonna come here, and we can do it in this case in the webhook if you want, and I'm gonna find here the transcript. There you go. I'm gonna pass it to expression to be able to add it. I'm gonna bring here, and I'm gonna add the next system. Okay guys, this is the system message. Your helpful assistant, your objective is to analyze and extract the date of the new appointment, the format, and the transcript I have given him. Nice. I'm gonna actually connect the chat model back here. There you go, fantastic. And what we have to do is actually update the row. So I'm gonna come here, and we're gonna add a Supabase module of update a row. Okay guys, so what I'm actually gonna do is actually click here, and we're gonna pin this output to be actually 3, so that once we play this one, where it's gonna come here, exactly here with the 3. There you go. Okay, so with this done, we're gonna actually play it here also, and we're gonna receive the output. That output is gonna be placed in this case here, so I'm gonna actually drag it here, and there you go. So finally, what we are gonna have to do actually is come to Gmail, because we want to actually inform the medicals, that the doctors, that there has been a change in an appointment. Okay, so in this case, we could do is actually extract with another AI agent the type of doctor we have and send to that department specifically an email informing about it. We can do that, and if you are a client and you are a cosmetic client, for you in a final product, I will do it. Or guys, if you are gonna build this for a cosmetic client or any type of company like this, do that. But to make the video shorter again, I'm gonna actually just duplicate one, and let's say that we're gonna send this email to the central email. So let's say, for example, to Max, that also manages everything. So let's say, hey Max, a new person has modified his appointment. Let's say his number is, and here we will include the number, put it here, and the new date of his appointment will be, and we can put here the output of the agent. There you go, fantastic. We can do something like that. Remember guys, that if you want to give the most value for this client, just put here a merge, divide between the 4 types, and with that you will send to each one an email depending on with which department has been triggered. But okay, with this we have actually finished the part of the AI voice part. I'm happy to do it. I have had to cut some parts of, for example, the merge, as I just said, of the types, dividing them, sending notification, and that type of thing. I'm actually create a small reminder for the ones that are gonna have actually an appointment. So for that, I'm actually gonna come back to overview, and if you remember in the previous one, we create a really similar system like this one. You know, do you see it? We're gonna actually do the same, and I'm even gonna modify this one. So we want to get many from the table of interested people. I'm gonna execute these nodes, and we want to get many. So in this case, if the date of appointment, this one, is before this one, and reminder sent, let's add here a inside interested, here a reminder sent column, which is gonna be a boolean. There you go, and I'm gonna save it. Fantastic. If it is false, then if everything of this is true, we are gonna actually update the row, and we are gonna go to, in this case, interested people. If this is perfect, I'm gonna execute previous nodes. Tell me. Okay, so I'm gonna actually come back to the table, and we're gonna change. I know I actually told you before, leave it in text, but guys, we have to leave it in timestamp because I was doing it wrongly and I was gonna die. Sorry about this. So I'm gonna actually click there on timestamp, and now as you can see, it successfully updates because it's gonna go correctly. So now this is gonna work. Actually, if we click here on run, it's gonna still give us the error, but because what we have to do is click here, and now we can click here, and as you can see, it's gonna give us correctly everything. So here we're going to put the ID from here, There you go. And we want to set the reminder sent as true. And later we're going to send an SMS to this guy. So I'm going to execute the previous notes. What we're going to do is actually get here I'm going to execute them. Sorry guys. I'm going to get here the number. So really easy. Just going to copy it. So for that, I'm going to go here, click here, so that we get there the info. There you go. And now we're going to get the info. So I'm going to bring the number. And in this case, the 2 is going to go to the number that we just got. Hey, name, we have to do an appointment. Here is the full date. There you go. And I'm going to actually right now do the same. I'm going to connect it to true. I'm going to do the same down here, as we want to change the number to the interested people. Well, in this case, I was doing this. If you remember our guide for buy or sell, we can actually delete this one. So that's good news that we can actually delete these ones. So I'm going to delete all of them and delete also this one. So that now we have the system ready to play the reminders. Okay, so now let's go to the cool part. Let's set up the WhatsApp agent. So for that, we are going to have to go to developers on Facebook. Here, you have to have a meta account for this. You can create right now one. And then we have to go to my apps. Inside here, you're going to have to click on create new application. Inside here, you're going to be able to put a random number, name of the application, and your email. So if we go later, we have all of these seat, or however you rabbis, we're going to go to another. And we're going to click on next. So next step is going to be to choose a business. And finally, what we are going to choose here is a business portfolio. Once there, we can create an app. I have to put here my password. And once it charges, it's going to take us to the central page where we are going to have to go here to configure our WhatsApp. Perfect. So what do you have to do here inside WhatsApp? What you have to do is click here, go to configure of the API configuration, however it's called in your language, and you have to click here on generate and identified blah blah blah. Here you have to continue with your name, and later you have to select your business account from WhatsApp. You can select all of them, and that's what I'm gonna do actually. And once we continue, we're gonna save it actually. So we're gonna accept. Now we can actually have here everything, and what you have to do is get here, include here a number to which you're gonna send it. I'm gonna actually set mine, and it's really as easy as this to configure WhatsApp. I thought that it was much more difficult, but it's really as easy as this. So I'm gonna actually configure right now. Once you have configured your number, you're gonna click here on send message so that you can actually send a message, and I'm gonna check if I have received right now a message. There you go, guys. I have just received a message, which is here I have it, guys. As you can see, it says hello world blah blah, and I just received the message. Great. So with this done, we're gonna go back actually to our precious and fantastic NA10 app. We're gonna create a new workflow, and what we're gonna do is set here our first step, which is gonna be a WhatsApp Business Cloud trigger, and it's gonna be on messages. There you go. We're gonna add it, and here we have to connect your credentials. Again, guys, follow the docs inside NA10. If not, it will be really long, so I'm gonna do right now that because I actually don't know how to connect it. Okay, guys, I just configured it. Perfect. In messages, it's gonna come. So later we're gonna go to our fantastic AI agent. This AI agent is gonna be exactly in charge of configuring and sending all the messages that we have. So we have to choose really carefully the chat model that we are gonna use. We could select Anthropic, blah blah blah, maybe Gemini, but I'm gonna go again for my favorite, ChatGPT. And I'm gonna leave it in GPT-4.1 mini. I think it's gonna work and it's not gonna burn all our tokens. Then it's gonna be a really similar agent to the previous ones because we're gonna actually add the tools of booking appointments, canceling appointments, and everything. So that's why we're gonna go to the Google Calendar tool, and I'm actually gonna select the tools. We're gonna give it the get many events, the cancel ones, and the book ones all at once. They're gonna be able to book all at once. You have to imagine that the prompt is gonna be really, really long. So for that, I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna let it define it by the AI agent, and I'm gonna actually set here book Derma. I'm gonna do exactly the same, guys, as we did before. We're gonna go with Derma, and we're gonna actually duplicate them until we got 4 of them. There you go. There you go. And there you go. Fantastic. So we're gonna be again editing all of them for Trico, plastic surgeon, and I'm gonna cut this part. Okay, guys, so I've just added basically the book tools. Let's go now with the actually get many events. It's gonna be actually the same process. This one is gonna be changing to get many. I'm gonna click here, and we're gonna select the one of Derma, and it's gonna be check Derma. And again, I'm gonna be duplicating 4 of them and editing for each one: plastic, aesthetic, and Trico. Great, there we have them. And now it's gonna be the last one of, in this case, delete. So let's go with the Google Calendar tool, and the last one is gonna be to delete an event. I'm gonna put it here as Derma. Let this for the AI agent to decide, and it's gonna be delete Derma. And there you go. And again, I'm gonna do exactly the same for the 4 type of doctors. Okay guys, and here we have it. Everything completed. Okay guys, so here I am actually in WhatsApp. So what I'm gonna do is come back to our NA10 automation, and let's click here on execute workflow, because what we're going to do is just do a small test. Okay guys, so we're gonna trigger it here. We're gonna come back to WhatsApp, and I'm just gonna place here hey, and then we're gonna see here that we actually received the item. With this, we're gonna be able to, in this case, click here on define below, and we want to basically put here message of the user. Great. And I'm gonna put here the body. I'm gonna click on expression, and I'm gonna put here the body. Great. So once we've done that, what we're actually gonna do is add the tool of, in this case, deleting a row inside Supabase, adding a row inside Supabase, and probably I think that, well, maybe update a row. Yeah, so we have to add all of them. So let's go to the Supabase tool that we actually have here, and we're gonna go with create. We're gonna go with the interested people, and we're gonna be adding the fields. In this case, the number we're gonna add directly here, guys, with the number that we have got. Later, what we're gonna do is basically go each one by one and letting it for the AI to modify it and to let it know. Of course, here the transcript and the recording URL is not gonna be able to be shown, of course, so we're just gonna have to be adding the other things that we can actually add, which we have already added. Well, the type. Great. So with the create a row, it's actually done. Let's go bring it here, and we're gonna have to add the one of Supabase of delete a row. So we're gonna come here, and we're gonna go with delete a row inside interested people, and it's gonna be delete here. There you go. So the condition is gonna be, in this case, that the number equals to the number from we got the message. So I'm just gonna place it here, and that's gonna be the condition, because it's really probable that the guys who actually contact us are gonna be with the same number that they contacted previously. If not, you can also put date of appointment and let the AI to detect it automatically. It's gonna work both cases. And finally, I'm gonna click, in this case, on update a row. So let's go to Supabase again, and I'm gonna go to update a row. Let's change it to update. And again, we want it to be in the interested people. The condition has to be that the date of appointment could equal, for example, what we have, the date that we have. We could also do it with the number and bring here the from variable that we have here and bring it here. Whatever you guys want. In this case, I'm gonna leave it like the number. So fields to update. What we have to update is the date of appointment, right? So I just added also the prompt. You'll have it in the description, in all the information in the Google Drive I will share to you. So we can actually add a WhatsApp business cloud of send message. We have to actually do a different credential from the one of receive message. So I'm gonna just get here to connect our credentials. By the way, I'm gonna just click right now on we're gonna execute this step. There you go, we have executed, and now we're gonna come back to our AI agent, and we're gonna put that the text body is gonna be actually this one. That's gonna be what we are gonna send. Great. So the recipient's phone number, here we are gonna have to add the variable that we got here from the WhatsApp trigger, this one that we have here, we added just hit it there. So now I'm just gonna click here, and I'm actually gonna include a memory. So we want it to be, in this case, a simple memory. We can call it whatever you want, and what we're gonna do is change this to define below. The context could be 15 messages. I'm gonna change it a bit, and the WhatsApp trigger that it's gonna be is the messages. So I'm gonna actually add here all the messages that we got from WhatsApp. There you go, guys, so that the AI agent knows all the messages, all the conversation that we have actually done. That's great. So I'm gonna run it again. It's not gonna change actually a lot. It's gonna be exactly the same. So okay guys, I just connected actually my WhatsApp account. So okay, so I've just done the connection. I'm gonna click here on execute workflow, and I'm gonna send another message like hey. There you go. So I'm gonna come back, wait, and we have received it there, as you can see. So I'm gonna set back here inside my WhatsApp, and I'm gonna set the recipient's phone number, which is gonna be the number that we got from the WhatsApp trigger. There you go, guys, just added here. Fantastic. So with this done, I have just clicked here to execute the step once I have configured, and as you can see here, we get the response. Hello, welcome to Send Cosmetics, the best cosmetic clinic in Madrid. How can we help you today? Are you interested in treatment, want to book an appointment, or have any questions? Great. So at the same time, what I'm going to do later is add an AI agent, which is going to be in charge of basically using all the transcript to decide if this guy has booked an appointment or not. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set here the messages so that he gets all the messages. Great. And later what we're going to do actually is come to system message, and we're going to tell him to tell this guy to decide if the conversation had ended. So decide with the messages if the conversation has already ended. Let's say we're going to say if it has ended, just output yes, if it hasn't, output no. Okay, so with this, what I'm gonna do is come outside. I'm gonna connect the chat model here, and I'm gonna actually go here to an if module where we want to get the output. I'm gonna execute this one. There you go. I'm gonna get here the output, and I'm gonna is equal to yes. In case it is equal to yes and it has ended, we're gonna add a Supabase in which we are gonna actually get a row, which is gonna be the centralized table. So let's go to the centralized table, add a condition in which the ID is 1. There you go, we got it, and we want to actually update it with depending of if this guy has applied for a job, if he has actually booked an appointment or anything of that. So I'm actually gonna delete this. I'm gonna add another AI agent here, which is gonna be in charge of deciding. I'm gonna give it exactly the same as we give him with the messages. There you go, all the messages are there. And now I'm gonna add the system message here, which is gonna be decide if the user wanted to book an appointment and did it, wanted to apply for a job, or any of them. Output 0 if any of them. Output 1 if he booked an appointment, and output 3 actually if he applied for the job. There you go, fantastic. So with this done, we're gonna actually go outside, we're gonna execute the step, and we have to select the chat model. Of course, I'm gonna select it back to ChatGPT. I'm gonna run it right now. Clicking here. There you go, we got it set as merge module, and no, switch module, sorry. Switch module in which we are gonna have 3 routine rules of outputs again. If it's equal to 0, so it means that they haven't done anything. If it's equal to 1, there you go, it means that they have booked an appointment. And if it's equal to 2, it means that they have applied for the job. Great. So with this done, we're gonna actually test the switch. There you go. And we're gonna have to play with the things of switch, because if we connect the one and we can come back to get row, we're gonna see that we don't have the information. So I'm actually gonna play with the information of get a row of the 0. So with this done, what we're gonna do is click here to execute this one. There you go, and then we're gonna add the last Supabase module. In this case, this one, no, it's not create a row, actually, it's update a row. And we're gonna go with the centralized table. The conditions is gonna be basically the ID equals 1. And as we did on the AI voice, we're gonna add the fields, because we're doing this one actually for the appointments. So we're gonna go here to calls done received. We're gonna bring this value here, and what we're gonna do is put dot apps again, comma 1, these brackets here. There you go, and put dot sum. There you go, fantastic. So later what we're gonna do is go to appointments, come here and do exactly the same. Dot apps, comma 1, put the brackets, and put dot sum. There you go, great. That's what there we have it. So what we're gonna do is basically bring this here, and we have already finished the ones of actually appointments. So what I'm gonna do is duplicate these ones. I'm gonna duplicate it here. I'm gonna duplicate this one here, because it's true that what we're gonna have to change in this one is the applications. So it's as easy as having here to the update a row one. And what we're gonna do is change this for applications, because I remember that the column was called applications. So as easy as that. There we have it. This is finished. But we have lastly what I'm gonna add actually is inside Supabase. I'm gonna add a column on the centralized table, which is gonna be the messages sent. So I'm gonna put here messages. There you go, and it's gonna be actually numeric, and I'm gonna save it here. Fantastic. So once it's actually created, I'm gonna come back to the NA10, and I'm gonna actually separate here a bit. There you go, and there you go. I'm gonna bring this and bring it here, and I'm gonna add a Supabase here module, which is gonna be in this case a get row. Fantastic. Where what we're gonna do is basically bring this one here. We want to get from the centralized table the condition that the ID is 1. Fantastic. And then what we're gonna do basically is come here to another Supabase table, update a row. There you go. I'm gonna select again the centralized table. There you go. The condition is gonna be as always the ID equals 1. I'm gonna execute here the previous nodes. Okay, great. And what we're gonna do now is add the fields of, in this case, messages, and we are gonna change it to here to be dot apps. There you go, and dot sum. There you go. Okay, so let's come back. Let's put here a 0, and it's gonna work already. So we can leave it like this right now. And what we have to do actually, because I made this mistake, is change the ones of calls done or received, because this is WhatsApp. We're not gonna basically do any calls, so we have to take that out, those ones. So I'm gonna exactly do the same here. There you go. And with this, we will have finished also the WhatsApp agent. So all the with everything here, all the systems, so that we can deliver the messages and everything, which is actually gonna work really good. What we should go build right now is the dashboard with all the information of the calls done, blah blah, blah inside Lovable. So we can actually go right now to Lovable. There you go, and we're gonna start asking him to, well, I'm gonna go to my Tribex agency organization. You can select there your organization. I'm gonna tell him to basically, I'm gonna copy the name of the table, which is customer support centralized table. I'm gonna tell him, okay, perfect, and there you go. So I'm gonna actually upload this. Fantastic, and right now it's gonna actually go and modify and start creating me a dashboard with the information of customer support centralized table from Supabase. You have to include the info of calls done, appointments, application, and messages. Let's wait until it finishes working. Okay guys, so here we have it. It has finished and we have seen this. So I'm gonna tell him that I would like him to include all the data. So can you please include all the numbers from the table, from my table of my organization inside Supabase of customer support centralized table. Okay, so now let's hope that it includes the data. I'm gonna come back once this class finished. Okay guys, so I actually saw what was happening, and is that I hadn't added the RLS policy and I had to enable it. In this case, Lovable gives me the option to do it, so I'm just gonna click here on apply changes and it's gonna be done for me, which is a great feature that it allows me to do. So right now it's gonna do that. Okay guys, new day, because my credits had burned. So what I'm gonna do is come back to my table here actually in Supabase. So we're gonna go to the interested people and we're gonna add an RLS policy and we are gonna disable it. We're gonna confirm this. And there you go guys, we can go now back to our tables and we have it completely disabled in both of them. I imagine I'm also gonna disable this one so that Lovable can get inside. There you go, fantastic. So now we can go back to the tables and I'm gonna tell him, can you change a bit the overview? I mean, the part of total calls, appointments, applications, and messages is great, but the part below, I would like you to include the information of the customer support, interested people, with the rows that you have there, so that we can have inside here the information of the interested people. Let's wait a bit and see what Lovable does. Okay, it has finished. I'm gonna tell him, I want you to remove the part of add new data entry and make the part above a bit bigger. And here we have all the data of the interested people, as we didn't add a lot of information. If we come to here and we find here inside the interested people, we don't have actual information, so we won't find there the info. So I'm gonna click here and it's gonna remove this part. See you later guys. Okay, cool, it's just finished and it's actually a bit more cooler and lightly. The last thing I'm gonna tell him is, please finally add inside the part of interested people the column of transcript and recording URL. And with this guys, we will have finished our dashboard with all the info and all the system of customer support, so that you can deliver it to big cosmetic clinics or whatever big company that you're interested in. And as you can see guys, here we have them, the transcript and the recording URL, which we can come here and see the storage inside Vapi to hear it. So it works perfectly. I'm just gonna click here on publish directly. I'm gonna publish anyway. There you go. And once it is published, we can go directly to Google and we're gonna see this. Every time that we want to refresh data and find new data, we're gonna have to click here on reset refresh data. Let's gonna see it on action. Yeah, here we have it. So as I said, every time we just have to click on refresh data and the data will be refreshed with the new data from Supabase. And guys, this is basically how to build it. It has been a long journey. We have actually done a really cool thing actually. So that's basically all the system. Let's go to the final part. So guys, this has been all for the video. I hope you've enjoyed and you've learned how to build a system which is gonna automate all of the customer support, voice and WhatsApp. So yeah, again, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.